What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick and I talk all about trading and investing here on YouTube. I try and keep it realistic, and today we're going to talk about a very realistic concept that a lot of people struggle with, which is being stopped out when using a stop loss in your trading. Now, this is annoying for a lot of people, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with. Have you ever been in a situation where you keep getting stopped out consistently on your trades? It can feel like the market is coming after you and trying to take your stop out every time you put one in. In fact, some people go so far as saying, the market is just hunting my stop loss. And I think that this needs to be talked about because there is some stuff that we need to unpack in terms of a stop loss. And the first thing we need to understand is that the market doesn't really care about your stop loss. A lot of times people think, oh, the market is going to come hunt my stop specifically. And the reason the market doesn't care about your stop loss in particular, it may care about a lot of traders' stop losses, but yours particular because, no offense, but your stop loss is next to nothing in the grand scheme of the market, right? If you get stopped out and you lose $50 or $100 or $500, that means nothing to the market, because the market, especially the foreign exchange, and even the stock market too, is moving tons of money all the time. And so your small stop loss getting hit, the market really, let's be honest, it doesn't really care about your money that much. It's really not that significant. Now, if you were trading with a $10 million stop loss, that would be a little bit different. The market might actually care to come tag your stop. But a lot of times people, jump to conclusions as, oh, I'm a victim of the market just hates me and that's why my stop gets hit. That is not why your stop is getting hit. Your stop may not be placed in a great spot, but also it's just gonna happen sometimes where you do get these strings of losses. And there's some things we need to understand about stop loss or using a stop loss that is just the reality of using one. And that kind of is just, for example, the big one is that if you place a stop on your trade and it's closer to price than your take profit, for example, a lot of times, inevitably, your stop is going to get hit more often than your take profit. Now, again, that can be very, very frustrating because people say, or people want that high win rate. They want to win 75, 80% of their trades. And if you're using a tight stop, sorry to say, but most likely you're not going to be winning 75, 80% of your trades unless you are an absolute market genius. And if so, send me your myfxbook.com because I legitimately would be interested in talking to you, because that'd be really, really cool. But it's very hard to do consistently for the long term. People can do it for short term. Long term is another story. It's very, very difficult to maintain a very high win rate with a huge reward to risk ratio. In fact, it's so unlikely that even successful traders I know don't have a ginormous profit percentage compared to the reward to risk, and they don't need it. So what I mean by that is traders who, let's say you're risking 1% to make 3% on a trade. If you were to win 65, 70% of your trades, you would be making huge money. But you actually, if you were saying a 3-to-1, meaning you make $3 for every dollar you lose in your risk to reward strategy, right? It actually doesn't take much more than a 40, 50% win rate to actually come out profitable. So that's something to remember. It's okay to get your stop loss hit if you have a reasonable strategy that you've back tested and that over time is most likely going to net you a profit. That's a key thing about a stop loss, because you have to be able to trust your strategy when placing a stop. Otherwise, you're just kind of throwing darts into the dark. You have no idea how your strategy is going to be performing long term. And that is the huge thing about trading is, a lot of times people get into this and they really don't have some sort of full-blown strategy that they have built themselves and tested and spent time and they journal their trades. If that is not you and you're still watching my channel, if you've been watching for a while, I would definitely recommend that you do some research, do some homework, and try and go through the process of actually developing a strategy. In fact, I've actually put together a free 100% no strings attached course on my channel about developing strategies start to finish. That is available. Again, go to my playlist section and look this course up. It is completely free. I don't sell any courses. This one is available to you. Now, because it's free, a lot of times people won't take it seriously, right? It's almost like when you pay for something, you take it more seriously. So I'm telling you, I should not make that course free, but it is free. So please don't hesitate to take it seriously. That is what it is. Again, a lot of times people mentally struggle with stop loss because they're sitting there like, oh man, I get stopped out all the time. And they feel very, very like a victim of the market. And again, we already talked about the market doesn't actually care about your stop. But the reason a stop is so often important is for us to capture ginormous winning trades we have to understand that they're not gonna come all the time. And when they don't come, it's okay. We should just stop out of the trade, move on, and try and find a setup that actually works out in our favor. The concept of a stop loss allows us to stop the bleeding, stop the bad trades quickly, and allow those good trades to keep going. And that really, in my career of trading and investing, is the key. Is, you know, the ones that really, really work out, the big winners, are where the money is at in my personal trend following trading strategies. So I can give you a couple examples. One time, Will saw this trade. We talked about it in the office a couple times. I took a Singapore dollar trade, right? So US dollar versus Singapore dollar trade on the long side. And the trend just kept going and going and going, and I was trailing stops in, and I took a really, really great profit off of that trade. I would not have taken that if I didn't let the winner run, and leading up to that, I took some losers before that. So I had to stop out of trades in order to get to the point where I was taking a phenomenal trade on USD SGD. So it's one of those things, you can't get the good without getting the bad. So you have to understand a stop loss is very, very necessary when we are trying to stop out the losing trades and let the winners run. Now, with that said, if you're still struggling, you feel like you're getting stopped out way too frequently, you may need to rethink how you are entering the market. And there's a lot of different methods and ways and concepts. You can trade breakouts, pullbacks, there's all these different concepts. I've got an entire YouTube channel where I've talked about these concepts over and over again, so you can check that out. Just scan through my videos. I've talked about entry styles and things to look at. But the biggest thing is, like I mentioned, take the time. I'm seriously, as on the other side of this whole trading career thing, where I went from, not being able to trade and losing trader and losing money to making decent money in the markets over time, the big thing was learning to develop strategies and to really learn to stick to them and be disciplined with them. There's no way you're going to make money in the long term if you don't have a strategy and are able to stick to it. There's just absolutely no way. If you are just guessing in the market, or you decide, oh, my stop keeps getting hit, so I'm going to trade with no stop loss, or I'm going to put a ginormous stop, or I don't even know where to put my stop. If you don't think about these things thoroughly before taking trades, you're setting yourself up for failure. And so that is my opinion. They are very, very important for trend following concepts in my own view and in my own strategies. Setting up a defined risk and letting those winners really take off and those losers get cut short is absolutely necessary. And the losing streaks, as we mentioned, they're gonna happen. It's part of the process of finding the winners, right? It's almost like you have to go through a bunch of crap to find the really, really good stuff, right? So it's like the diamond in the rough. You have to get stopped out, and eventually the good trades come along, and if your strategy is good, your winners outweigh your losses. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it. Hey, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I see in my analytics that some of you guys are not subscribed. If you have not subscribed for free trading content, I put it all out here. As much as I can share for free, I do. So feel free to dive through the content. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.